So Adam is a movie that I saw. I wish I could see Adam as different versions of myself. I wish that I could see Adam as someone who has never heard of the book or the author or anything about it, just heard the premise of the movie, maybe not even the premise, and just thought, well, I'll go see that. I wish that I could see it as a cis person or as a straight person, or I wish I could see it as who I am, but older, because in 2006 I was 11. So I don't know 2006 as an adult in New York. I wish I could see Adam as a trans man, as a butch lesbian. I wish I could see Adam in a lot of different ways, from a lot of different perspectives. But I can't watch it from all those different ways and all those different perspectives to see how I would feel. I can only watch it as who I am and where I come from with that viewpoint and make a judgment based on that. It's hard to find gay content that's distributed in an accessible way. So I think it's very hard to say no thank you to anything that depicts us, even in bad ways. Gay film history is so filled with terribleness and just different tropes that we all know and recognize. I just watched Lost and Delirious, which is a lesbian film and it's got a lot of different lesbian film tropes in there. It's told from a straight perspective, first of all, and it's got a psycho butch in it, a treacherous femme who turns kind of straight. It's got all these different little things in it, and as queer viewers, we have to take certain things to get other certain things. Because I loved Lost and Delirious. It was terrible, but also great. I enjoyed it and I loved it, and I also know the things that are wrong with it and the things that I don't like, particularly that it's told from a straight lens. And I think that is the biggest problem with Adam. The biggest problem with Adam is that it's told from a cishet boy's perspective as he does something terrible, and it's hard to make that palatable to the audience that I suppose you would want of queer people. And I have to give props to the director, because based on the details that I know about it, the movie is better. They've seemed to have changed certain parts to make it less reprehensible a thing that this main character does, but it feels like a movie that a lot of cis people, straight people, or cishet people will look at and say, oh my god, this is so touching and inspiring. The worst moment in the movie, for me personally, Adam kind of realizes what he's done. He's done this terrible thing, and he starts crying about it. And I was like, am I supposed to feel bad for him? I don't feel bad for him at all. I feel bad for all the people that he lied to. But I know that the movie wants at least straight audiences to reflect or something and look on themselves and say, oh wow, these other people have it so hard and we're just oppressing them. I mean, it's so frustrating to have to watch a straight man cry about the bad things that he did. It's really hard to stomach. I consider myself a very empathetic person. I can put myself into the shoes of a 16-year-old who has pretended to be a trans man and lied to a girl for a whole summer, while also being cis-normative and assuming that one of my roommates is a cis man when he's a trans man and making those comments. I can say, yeah, that would feel terrible if he's trying to be a good person. But also, he's not the victim in any way, so I don't really feel that bad for him. And it's really hard to have to it's really sucks that gay and trans people have to, I feel like our media is so centered on death a lot of the times. People die, people kill themselves, or they're murdered, like in Lost and Delirious. It's its own trope that gay people have to die, trans people have to die in our movies. And I know where it comes from. The literature had to be that way, and even in a movie that doesn't feature any of that kind of violence, that we would have to have the cishet man see that to understand that we have value, that we shouldn't be impersonated, that we should be respected. It really sucks. It just really sucks that that's the way that our world is. It just makes it really hard for this movie to be good. Overall, the movie is pretty good. It's well made. The actors are pretty good. The problem really is just the plot is terrible and not a story that is interesting. You know, the filmmakers are queer. At least I'm pretty sure Ariel Schrag, whatever her last name is because I know the director Reese Ernest. He's a trans man. I'm glad that there's an opportunity for trans people to tell stories about trans characters in a way, because all the trans characters are side characters, so it's not really a trans story. It's still a cishet story. It's still about this dude who doesn't have those experiences. Why is this the way that our films have to be? I wish that our movies could just end better and be about us instead of as side characters or background characters or dead people on a TV screen. I much prefer movies where, like, I didn't see it this year, but Hearts Beat Loud. I heard nothing but praise about that movie, or middling praise about it. But it was, involved two girls. They're in a relationship. It's not the main point of the movie, but it's also not an issue. It's not a thing. Like I wish that we could have more normal shit in movies instead of everything is doom and gloom and some set boy is making a fucking fool of himself. It's really great that we get to have trans people in the background, in the foreground, behind the camera, making films. I want more of that. I wish we had more of that. But not all media where trans and gay and bi and queer people are represented are equal. Just because a movie has a gay person in it doesn't mean it's going to be revolutionary. Sometimes it might be fucking worse than a movie with just straight people. And that's just the way the cheese whiz falls, I guess. I've never said that before in my life. Why did I say that? I'm not going to go into detail about what the plot is or isn't, make comparisons between book and movie, because I don't know the exact comparisons between them. I'm sure you can look it up. I'm sure other people have written reviews about it, people who know more about the book. But suffice it to say, Adam is a fine movie, but not great representation. And it just makes me want to watch a better movie. The one that comes from our perspective instead of from a straight guy's perspective. Is I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry a cinematic masterpiece? No, neither is Adam. I haven't seen I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. I don't know why I decided to make that comparison. Also, that movie's probably more homophobic than I think it is. Do I even know the plot?